Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Note to Self. So, I've been thinking a lot lately about how much of our discomfort in life doesn't actually come from what's happening in our lives. It comes from how we thought things would be happening by now. So, the timelines in our head, the version of life we were expecting to be living, the clarity we assumed would have arrived already. And when reality doesn't match that, something inside of us tightens. There could be frustration, there could be sadness. Sometimes it's a quiet anger at life or God that we don't really want to admit. And I don't think it means anything is wrong. I think it often means we're resisting God's timing without realizing it. I notice this the most when I'm holding expectations about how something should feel by now. Like, if I've done this much inner work, shouldn't this be easier? Or if this is meant for me, why hasn't it landed yet? Or why am I still here in the same circumstance or pattern or feeling? And those thoughts don't mean that you lack faith. They actually mean that you care really deeply. But expectations that are quietly running under the surface turn into pressure over time. And pressure creates resistance. Not to the thing that we want itself, but to the season we're actually in. So here's something I keep coming back to. God's timing doesn't respond to urgency. It responds to openness. And we all know that being in a state of openness, feeling that energetic reality like in front of you, it feels so abundant. It feels so pure. It feels so full of potential. And when we're in resistance, it feels like a contraction, like that beautiful reality potential in front of us gets smaller and smaller and smaller until we don't feel it at all. When I'm tense personally, like when I'm waiting or scanning for signs or trying to figure something out, my system is ultimately saying, I don't trust this moment. And the shift always happens when I soften, when I stop arguing with what is, when I let the moment be enough, even if I don't understand it. That's usually when things start moving. And what I've learned is that God isn't withholding the thing. God is preparing, God, source, universe, you can use those words interchangeably, is preparing the version of you who can receive it without fear, without self-abandonment, without collapsing back into the old patterns. And that preparation doesn't always look productive, and it doesn't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it looks like slowing down in your life. Sometimes it looks like losing interest in the things that you used to chase. Sometimes it looks like sitting in the unknown longer than you would like. Again, uncomfortable. But it doesn't mean that you're stuck. It means that something is realigning. And when you release expectations, not your desires and the things that you want for your life, but the timeline of them, something really powerful happens. Your body starts to relax more deeply. Your nervous system settles, and you stop leaking energy into resistance, rumination, and thought loops that ultimately don't support you, your identity, and where you're going in life. In this place of openness, life has a lot more room to meet you again. And personally, I felt this over and over in my life. Sometimes it feels like that the game of life is a game of forgetting who you are and then remembering. Forgetting how connected you are and then remembering how connected you are and having things really flow in a powerful way. So when you stop pushing, the clarity shows up. When you stop resisting, the momentum starts to happen. And a lot of times this just has to do with basically us getting out of the way, deciding that, okay, I'm stuck on a loop here, right? Not stuck in reality, but like I've got myself a little wrapped up, stuck in a perpetual loop, a resistance to what is, and I want to start to create that flow. So if you're feeling frustrated right now or disappointed or quietly worn down about something not being there in your life yet, right? Expectation not being received, I want you to consider this. What if nothing is wrong? What if there's no delay? What if God's timing is just asking you to trust a little bit deeper? Because this is how we build the trust muscle, is when we are in the unknown and we are feeling uncomfortable and we recognize that we're growing, right? Trust isn't just something you read a book and all of a sudden you're like, I trust reality to the fullest. No, it has to be earned. And in the earning process, it can be deeply unsettling and deeply uncomfortable. And in my life, I've found that there will be different unknowns, and some stretches of the unknown are longer than others. Like, just an example for you guys, I'll share. I was single for about 10 years before I'm reconnected with my present partner that I am now. I dated a little bit. There was some situationships, some learning opportunities there, but that was a huge unknown. That was 10 years, a decade of my life feeling single, right? Not actually knowing when or how that thing would come into my life. And there was a lot of moments in time where I was disappointed because I expected it would be there by now, right? I expected it as I was traveling the world that I wouldn't be traveling the world alone anymore, but I was. And when I found peace with that, I know that I've created a few episodes in the past about that, but if you guys are wanting me to dive deeper into when it comes to creating a relationship in your life, I'm so happy to dive deeper into that. But when I found peace was almost instantly when it flowed in. And it wasn't about me like striving to find peace so it would come into my life. It was a genuine place of me finding peace within myself and fully being good either way, right? Again, not I'm going to be good either way so then that thing can show up. It was like I fully let go and I fully embraced the idea, let's say, of being single for the rest of my life. And like that's when it flowed in. So anyways, so happy to dive into that. If you guys want to hear about it, just send me a message and I'll know to put that into my notes of content to create. But yeah, back to God's timing. Okay, you're not behind, you're not missing anything, and nothing meant for you will ever pass you by. When I catch myself in this space of having expectations, again, because we know sort of the formula is release the expectations, find peace, like true peace and freedom in that, and then all your desires come flowing to you, right? When I find myself in that state and I'm like, oh, I'm just not there yet, or I'm not where I want to be, and I'm feeling the frustration of it, or whatever emotions might arise, I remind myself like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And people say that, and I know that when you're in an uncomfortable place, like maybe me saying that right now, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like the last thing I want to hear. I've been there, so it's okay. I totally get it if that's pressing a button right now. But you are exactly where you're meant to be, and if you can find the understanding that like, okay, I'm here for a reason, even if it doesn't make sense yet. In hindsight, it will always be 2020, and I don't understand what all of this is for, but one day I will. And if I can at least just stretch my faith into that place, then I'm stretching and growing my trust muscle, and I know that good things are going to happen for me, because change is the only constant. If you feel like there's been a sort of circumstance in your life, like it could be being single, it could be like being on the edge of wanting to start your own business but working for somebody else, like whatever it is that you feel like, oh, I've just been here for quite a long time. Change is the only constant. It will change. It has to change. You are continuously growing and evolving. If you're listening to this podcast right now, it's a sign for you, right? You wouldn't have attracted this information into your life if it wasn't meant for you to receive right now. That you're exactly where you're meant to be. You're being prepared for all that you desire. Even if it feels painful in moments, even if it feels deeply uncomfortable, you can trust that, the deeper you go, the better you're going to rise, right? The better you're going to feel. Life works like that, right? Ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys, right? If you're in a valley, you're about to just rise up to an ultimate peak. If you've been in the deepest valley you've ever been in before, you are about to rise into such a powerful version of yourself. So get excited about that. I hope that in itself just planted a little seed of inspiration that you're about to be somewhere so much greater if you're feeling uncomfortable about where you are now. So if you're moving through a season like this and support would be beneficial to you, this is the work that I do with clients inside my core energy coaching containers and in my in-person Kambo ceremonies here in Toronto. So we work directly with the body to release resistance and come back into alignment. And if this is something that you're curious about, there's links in the show notes, and you can always reach out to me if there's any questions. I'm on Instagram at Zoe Ariel, and I love to hear from you guys. So sending you lots of love. And again, you're exactly where you need to be. You wouldn't be where you are right now if it wasn't meant for you in a big way. So sending you a big hug, lots of love. You've got this.